The baby isn't born yet. What if Mr. Jones gets angry? You must endure it. Janet stopped dialing, looking enlightened. I get it, Bella. You're trying to make me look unreasonable so your dad will hate me. When the baby is born, you and your mom will take my son and make him call you mom. After a long time, they finished their drama, and I finally had a chance to speak. First, my dad has been dead for 5 years. You should ask the baby's father why he's pretending to be my dad. You might want to report him for fraud. Second, my parents had a very stable relationship. Even if my dad were alive, he wouldn't look at you, so stop slandering him. Third, the Jones family. Before I could finish, Flora interrupted. Are you going to say the Jones family relies on your mother? The three laughed hysterically. I didn't understand what was so funny, and it was the truth. If Janet weren't pregnant, she might have rolled on the floor laughing. Janet wiped tears from her eyes and said, Bella, stop your nonsense. I know exactly what you're thinking. You want me to be unreasonable so your dad will hate me. I've been with your dad for over a year. I've seen his ID and stayed at your villa to prove her point. Janet showed photos of her in a bikini at our villa pool. You recognize this place, don't you? I raised an eyebrow, and it was indeed our villa in the suburbs. Did someone steal our keys and deceive Janet? It seemed I needed to ask the housekeeper to change the locks and strengthen security. I glanced at Janet, who was arrogant. She only had one requirement for her boyfriend, which was wealth. The more women cared about money, the easier they were to be deceived. Maybe by casually treating her to a few meals, I could deceive her. I was not a kind and innocent girl. I didn't intend to mention the evidence I had prepared. Since Janet was so sure that she was pregnant with my father's child, then let her be. I didn't explain further, waiting for the day they would be proven wrong. But they thought I was speechless because I'd been caught lying. Janet unceremoniously took a black card from my bag and handed it to Flora. A girl like you doesn't need such a high-end card. As your stepmother, I'll keep it for you. Don't tell your dad, or you'll regret it. Flora took the card with both hands and said, I heard this card can buy a car. I've never seen one before. I didn't stop them or explain that this black card could buy a plane, let alone a car. Thanks, Janet, for broadening our horizons. Thea also came over, both of them staring at the card greedily. Janet saw I wasn't reacting and thought she had me completely subdued. She linked arms with Flora and Thea and left the dorm. Let's go. Today, I'm treating you to dinner, shopping, and a movie. We have plenty of money. Thea hesitated a bit. Janet, Bella is so sneaky. She's never taken us out before, just treated us to meals and coffee. Is it okay to use her card now? Flora, eager for a treat, rolled her eyes at Thea and me and said, you don't understand. Bella won't dare say anything. If she does, Mr. Jones will remember to give Janet a card with an even higher limit. So she won't say a word. Yes, you were right. I made a gesture inviting them to go. Feel free to use the card. Go to a restaurant with a high average spending. The three of them left the dorm with my card. After they left, I called the bank and canceled my card. It wasn't until the lights were about to go out in the evening that the three angrily returned to the dormitory. As soon as we entered the dormitory, Janet snapped my card in half and threw it on the ground and said, it was you, wasn't it? You froze my card, right? I kindly explained. I froze my own card. If a card is lost, it must be frozen. I was helping you. This card has a high limit. If you had used it, you wouldn't just be unable to go to school, you'd be going to jail. Do you understand? Janet fumed and said, do you know what it's like to order a bunch of food and not be able to pay for it? The server looked at me like I was garbage and almost called the police to report me for dining and dashing. I covered my mouth, coughed a few times, and tried hard not to laugh out loud. That's strange. You're carrying Mr. Jones's eldest son, right? Shouldn't you have your own card? Why would you need to use mine? This doesn't match your status. Thea's face turned black with anger, and she reached out her hand. Give me money. I spent over 10,000 on Alipay today, and you have to pay me back. Flora nodded along. Yes, my credit card and Alipay also spent several thousand. Hurry up and give us the money. I spread my hands and said, I'm not giving you anything. What can you do to me? It seemed like they had no solution. Janet froze for